So Dehancer, a film emulation plugin in combination with the Lumix s5ii, has kind of been a game changer for me. It has reduced my editing time to nearly none for some projects. But before we dive into that, let's see what Dehancer can do with some editing. That was my first attempt at using Dehancer, and that was a project for my clothing brand, and I'm actually happy with how it turned out. I think watching it back now, I would push the film look even further, but I like how the grain looks, the color separation that the film profile is giving me. I think with the detailed noises and just the close-up shots, it really ties them together. So the team at Dehancer actually reached out to me to make this review for them. They haven't seen this video before publishing. They asked for an authentic review. I do have to mention that this review is coming from a Premiere Pro user who has never shot on film and has only touched DaVinci Resolve maybe once. So after making that sewing reel, I had my fair share of pros and cons in my head already, but then I started thinking about how I can't really give an authentic review if I don't really think about what's the purpose of this product and who is this product for. So Dehancer is not nearly the cost as real film, but there's still a cost. At the time of this recording, the Pro version of Dehancer for Premiere Pro and After Effects is around $450 US. If we're going to imitate film, why not just do it ourselves in Premiere? Why go through the plugin? I wanted to compare two shots. One shot I would use Dehancer with, and that's all. And the other one I would compare using a vintage lens on top of a Pro Mist filter with some color grading, added grain, and halation. With the clip that's edited with Dehancer, I just choose the film profile I really liked and enabled a few of the base settings, but besides that, all the adjustments right out of Dehancer is just like that. So looking at both of these images, I have 3 questions for you. Can you tell which is which? Second, which one looks more like film? If you know film, if you don't, it doesn't matter. And 3, which one looks better? I will reveal the answer in 3, 2, 1. In my opinion, I think that the vintage lens shot has a really nice soft organic feel. I think the Pro Mist adds a halation or bloom, not sure what the proper term is, that's not really being seen in the Dehancer plugin. But for the Dehancer shots, I think the grain is just mapped out a lot better. The colors for both of these images I think are good. Again, no tweaking on Dehancer's side. And I think the halation is better, like the red halation around the white parts of the image is better with Dehancer as well. One thing I do have to mention though is that just trying to build the grain and the halation with the vintage lens shot was already taking a lot more processing power than Dehancer, which is kind of a concern because on my pros and cons list, Dehancer is already taking a lot of processing power, so that has a lot to say. And I haven't even talked about 2 other aspects that I really like about Dehancer. And with each function you have, like grain, halation, bloom, vignetting, you get to really dive deep into the customization of everything. And that's something you don't really have when trying to do it yourself. With Premiere, the tools are more limited. Okay, but what do we take away from this test? If we were to rank them all the techniques to get the film look, this is how I would put it. Number 1, you have real film. I think imitation, emulation can only get so close to the original thing. Where Dehancer does beat film though is with time and money. It takes a lot of time to process, and each frame you get, you are spending dollars with real film. Number 2, you have Dehancer along with practical effects, I think. I've yet to try it, but using Dehancer with the vintage lens and maybe that matte box outline and the right crop ratio and just all those little things to add it up to a real promising image. So that's number 2. Number 3, I think, would just be Dehancer for its control and functionality. Really just outperforms. It does it quicker and better than just trying to do it yourself. That's what you're getting. That's what the cost is. And lastly, just trying to do it yourself. I think you can get away with it, especially for the common eye. But yeah, that's my tier for you. But back to the functions I haven't talked about yet, which is one, Dehancer lets you use false color within Premiere. Basically shows you the exposure values in your scene and representing it in colors. And so you can easily match the right exposure for your subject bouncing from each shot to each. But the feature that I really like is being able to export real-time LUTs. Again, in combination with the real-time LUT feature for the S5 II, this has made shooting spontaneously more fun. Like, I don't need to worry about editing as much. I could just shoot real time with the film profiles, the huge library that Dehancer has made, and just be able to use those colors to my advantage. Not much work on my end. I'm the type of creative who doesn't really bring out my camera much to like personal events because I know that I need to spend a lot of time editing to make the pictures the way I like them. I know that you can already export LUTs in Premiere, but you have to build those. But with Dehancer, I could just pull from their library that I already have. I will say that the look can be a bit intense at times, but just depending on the lighting, what's in your frame, what's not in your frame, your composition, it can make it look better. Really quickly, I just want to rapid fire the pros and cons that I've just found working with Dehancer. The flexibility and control you have with this thing is insane. Like, you can really build your image from the ground up. Like the type of grain, type of halation, everything in between. The con with that is that it can get a little bit messy in the interface, like the workspace on Premiere. I wish there was a way to toggle on and off like what was affecting your image. I know you can, but you have to do it through the drop-down menu. And that can just kind of get annoying. I mean, I'm being tedious here, but it would be really cool if I don't have to drop down every single menu to know what's affecting my image. I really like how the plugin reads the vlog footage. I think it does a better job at converting my log footage better than the conversion LUT from Panasonic themselves. The guide that Dehancer provides for you with the license is really to detail. Like, going into this, not having shot film, not really being familiar with what it is, I was able to pick it up quickly just by having fun with it, messing around, seeing what does what, but also just reading the manual. Like, they went to detail with that thing. The other functions that I love, I already said, are the false color and the LUT generator. And lastly, for the pros, I just have to say that it looks good. Like, overall, that's what matters, right? I'm happy with the image that it's producing. Okay, but now let's get into the cons. It does take a lot of processing power, as I mentioned before. It was a little bit slow on my M2 MacBook Pro, which is usually like a rock star, everything else, but it was a little bit slow even at half resolution when playing it back. But I don't think that will be a problem going forward just as computers advance. Like, there's an M3 MacBook now. I think that won't be an issue. As I mentioned before, the workspace can get messy. Yeah, I don't want to go on about that again. One thing that they did forget to put in their manual was when you're making LUTs, if you have the defringe checkbox checked, then it ruins the whole thing. So make sure you don't have that. Maybe they had it in the manual and I just didn't see it, but I think if you explicitly mention that, it will save a lot of headaches. To summarize all this, put shortly, I think emulation, imitation can only get you so close to the original film. Again, I've never shot film, but using Dehancer along with practical effects can get you a lot further than just trying to do it yourself. And so that's where the cost comes in, you know? That's what you're paying for. I think it's worth it long term, but if you only plan to really try out the style one time, you can try you're doing it yourself with just overlays and effects in Premiere, but overall, Dehancer has definitely got the win. Thank you to the team at Dehancer for choosing me to make this review. I hope it was helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed. God bless. Bye.